difference between a conflict from hiring a lawyer under the bar and a difference between COIA. This board doesn't do COIA training, however, it is open to COIA laws. Most boards want to know, and board members want to know if there is a conflict. Advisory opinion just allows you to know if there's a conflict. If there's no conflict, they'll say, hey, there's no conflict. So I understand the board wants to take it up, but I would recommend that we wait to see what the advisory opinion is. Thank you.
Next, we have Mr. Bill Outlaw.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, board members, citizens. I was going to decline to speak, but after Mr. Page's comments, I changed my mind. And I want to commend you, Mr. Chairman, for wanting to go forward with a community outreach that will improve the electoral process in Nottoway County. I have a meeting in the morning. I'll be meeting with Senator Frank Ruff and our new delegate, Lee Ware, and I'll ask them the question if the Commonwealth of Virginia laws prohibit the formation of committees. I know on the school board we've done that, and there's been no problems. So again, thank you for your forward outlook on improving the electoral process in Nottoway.
All right, next we have Mr. Richard Hawkins.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, fellow board members, fellow citizens. Happy New Year. Hope 2023 will be a good, prosperous year for everyone. 10 a.m. on a weekday morning is a terrible time to hold a public meeting. A large percentage of citizens are at work this time of day, and it's impossible for them to attend without taking off from work. Also, school is in session at this time of day, so it's impossible for students to attend weekday morning meetings during the months when school is in session. It is my hope that the board will consider holding its meetings in the future in the evenings so that it will be possible for more citizens to attend. Thank you.
That's the end of our sign-ups for public speaking, and we appreciate all of the input. It's very valuable to us. Now we'll move on the agenda to old business. The first item as amended during this meeting is discussion of the letter seeking advisory opinion. At the previous meeting in December, the chair, former Chair Allen, presented a letter to the Nottoway Commonwealth Attorney, Leanne Watrous, a letter seeking advisory opinion. The board voted 2-1 to send that letter, and the chair asked if Ms. Allen has an update on that.
So we sought an advisory opinion to make sure there were no conflicts of interest going forth on the electoral board and possibly regarding the lawsuits that we're currently in. So after reaching out to Ms. Leanne Watrous, she informed me that she is still working on the advisory opinion and she does not have any update at this time for us.
Okay. All right. The chair would make a motion that we table that and continue discussion of it at the next meeting. Did
Okay. So I can write the name.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I heard you, but I didn't register.
That's okay. Are you able to hear? Because I know your game is going on.
I got you.
Okay.
Maybe it's from being in this classroom when I was a kid, maybe I used to pay attention.
No bad flashbacks,
Not yet.
Hi, I'm sorry to interrupt. Y'all wouldn't happen to have a key to these rooms over here, would you? Sorry.
Till next month.
until next month.
We're gonna be.
So you made that motion, I can second it.
Mm-hmm. And we're in open session, go ahead on the second.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second to table the discussion of the letter seeking advisory opinion until the next meeting, which will be in February. Take a vote, please. Any discussion about that? There being no discussion, call for a vote. All in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have old business redistricting. That is really old business. We've been struggling. Last year, prior to the 2022 general election, Town of Blackstone executed their redistricting. But that was the only locality. We still have redistricting for Nottaway County as a whole to be executed. My understanding as of this morning is that and Rodney, I'll ask you to give us an update here in a minute too from what you know, but just for general public information, the ordinance has been rewritten to accommodate objections. I don't have the specifics on who objected, but I know it couldn't go forward. The ordinance has been rewritten by the county and submitted to the Attorney General's office, who has to issue a letter of no objection prior to execution of the redistricting effort. According to Mr. Costin this morning, he does not expect to hear back from the Attorney General's office until the end of January sometime, or possibly early February. This is a critical issue for Nottaway County. We are doing everything we can to stay on top of it, and that includes clear communication with the administration of the county who makes these rules. And just as a side note, the county not only sets up and redraws the district lines and defines the meets and bounds, but the county also is in charge of determining polling places. That is not a function of this board. The county, through ordinance, determines the polling places. I'm going to ask Rodney here at this point to give us an update on what you know as well.
Okay. Good morning. What the chairman said was pretty spot on. I can give some brief background. The reason the initial ordinance did not go forward was basically in the composition. It was composed reflecting the changes that the Board of Supervisors were intending to make based on voting districts. State Board of Election required that the ordinance be written reflecting changes pertaining to voting precincts. Kind of a tomato issue, but that was what made the first Finance Committee right after the election somewhat ill and nullable, I should say. So the new ordinance was rewritten based on precinct. According to what I have from Mr. Costin as well, the plan was submitted around December 19th to the AG. The plan itself eliminates 3 polling precincts. One will be the Bergfield Fire Department, Berkeley Fire Station, the Nottaway County Courthouse, and the Nottaway Civic League.
Could you give me one moment?
Yes, ma'am.
So you said the emergency squad in Bergville,
The Berkeley Fire Station,
the courthouse,
Nottaway Courthouse,
and the civic league.
and the Nottaway Civic League. Those 3 precincts are, the ordinance requested those 3 precincts be eliminated.
relocated, just
Right.
flat open.
Now, to address the voting requirement for voting District 1, which primarily is the Burkeville district, this will become, the school will become an official polling place for our next general election. We had talked with the supervisors and Mr. Carson, so we're going to utilize the gymnasium, the same as being done with the Crew Primary School and the Blackstone Primary School. So schools will become a primary polling place on election day. It will continue to be the central absentee precinct polling place as well. So it will take on multiple functions during the next general election. We and I have talked about logistics as to how we could pull that off, utilizing the gymnasium on election day and per se the cafeteria during early voting and other rooms within the building for any CAP activities as well as canvas. I don't have any further update on the timing of the internal date he approved, but I am in contact with Mr. Carson on a normal basis, and he gives me updates as he gets them. Things to be distributed.
I have a question. You mentioned this building serving as a dual purpose, but if I'm right, the CAP closes down, early voting closes down the Saturday before the election.
Yes.
So it would be on election day, this would only serve as a polling place for Burkeville, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you don't have to worry about directing traffic?
No.
Okay, gotcha.
Only if the,
Wherever you would like to, you can kind of put the mic closer.
It's not gonna pick up y'all talking unless you hold the microphone.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, thank you, Rodney. I know that you'll keep us updated.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Eyeball, has the school division been read in on all of this? And this, after all, is and belongs to Nottaway County Public Schools.
I'll get an answer for you. Thank you.
if I may, I am fairly confident that the supervisors, I had assumed, would have briefed the board, the school board, I mean, in terms of their desire for use of the building. You're saying that has not occurred?
It has not occurred. We have a meeting, our monthly meeting this Thursday. I did not see it on the agenda, and the Board of Supervisors does not control this building.
All right, valid point. We normally get this building through a request for
Use of facilities.
Use of facilities.
That's what I do for this meeting and any other time we utilize it for whatever function. And any other person using the building goes through the process. Now, the actual use for election day, I mean, I had assumed, and I could be making a bad assumption, that it would merely require a use of facility request to the school board as I normally had, since it will only be a one-day activity for the general.
All right, we'll get some information, get some guidance on that. Okay, go ahead, comments, questions?
Just want to bring up, we don't choose the voting locations, the polling locations, but it is, I do believe it's up to the electoral board to inspect the polling locations.
It is.
Okay.
Mr. Cruz?
Just a quick question about District 2. You mentioned, Mr. Registrar, that the courthouse is no longer a polling place. If I remember, I was on the redistricting commission. So if I remember correctly, that was the polling place for District 2. Is there a new polling location for District 2?
Courthouse was District 1.
I know, but when we did redistricting, yeah, we came back.
Crew Library will now become only polling places.
Okay, that's what I needed verification on. Thank you, Mr. Registrar.
And, oh, by the way, you guys have,
Yeah.
you can break down in your packet.
Yes, sir, and I appreciate you giving me that, or I would be a little bit lost, but I get what you're saying. And District 2 is library, and here the polling place is Brookville Elementary. And I'm kind of like you, we assumed, that's a bad thing to do, but when I was listening to you speak, I assumed that Mr. Costin wouldn't have advised them and made the list without letting the school board know, but that's, on our part, a bad assumption to make. So we definitely need to have some clarification and make sure that all of these groups are working together and the left hand knows what the right hand's doing.
So I can follow those you want to do now.
I think we both need to talk to Mr. Costa together. And we'll straighten this out. All right, just so that the public knows, redistricting, even in a county of the size of Nottaway, is not a simple thing. The meets and bounds have been drawn. The meets and bounds need to be entered into the Vera system, which is the database that controls where you vote and what's on your ballot at that polling place. And there was a little bit of confusion, and it's critical that we get some clarification on certain issues, because redistricting could happen any time after the AG says go. The work that has to be done, the county administration and supervisors have been made aware of the law regarding lead time for changing polling places, for example. Notifications have to go out. Every voter in Nottaway County will get a new voter ID card. The candidates are already out there telling me I'm collecting my signatures. Okay, and that's fine, because January 1st they're allowed to do that. So we have gotten some guidance from the Virginia Department of Elections about the redistricting and when it happens in the middle of people collecting